base enemy init. So inside of here, of course, I could have just done the middle click or the. Thanks a lot, Pixelated Pope. Talk to you soon, man. So I could have just dropped in here really quickly with the middle click button on the mouse or the F12 button. But I wanted to see if I could do object inheritance with a base enemy object and then another enemy object. So let's go into object enemy 1. Parent object is object base enemy. The create event includes this method call right here, event inherited. I wanted to see if I could basically verify that on screen existed. This variable that I set in here existed. Again, I set that in the object base enemy, which object enemy 1 is inheriting from, and then I called event inherited. So I was a little bit upset at first when I saw this with GameMaker that GameMaker allows you to do object inheritance with events, but if a child object has an event, then that basically overrides whatever happens in the parent object. Well, for that same event. Well, that doesn't help a lot, especially when, like, say, for instance, I have a create event where I want to set a lot of variables, and I don't want to reset all those variables every time in every single object, especially like an enemy object. But I want those variables to exist, and I want to be able to overwrite them if necessary in the child object, which is basically how object inheritance should work. Well, did a little research. GameMaker does allow it if you write event inherited. Basically, what this does is it will go ahead and call the parent event that is the exact same as the one you're using in the child event. So since I'm in the child create event right now, it calls the parent create event and sets whatever variables occur there, and then once it gets here, it allows me to override those variables, or since we're working with objects, you could call them properties as well. But so that was a big breakthrough. That's going to allow for a lot of deduplication of code. The main thing I'm trying to do is not rewrite a single line of code if possible. And when it comes to the enemies and inheriting from the enemies, I'm trying to make sure that specifically I only write variables in the initialization code that are used across all enemies. So I'm just having to do a little bit of research on that. So right now I'm probably not going to leave on screen equals true, because I don't think that occurs across all enemies in particular. That was really cool. I was looking to see if GameMaker would open up their method and see. So it did go straight to the documentation. So okay, on screen equals false. I basically need to have multiple enemies open at once to see some of the similarities between them. Base enemy and enemy 1. So right now I think it's safe to say that I can use collision on. So I'm going to do that inside of that script. Collision on equals true. GameMaker. Oh man. So many things could be better about GameMaker. Part of it is just my lack of patience with the file system and the Windows management. But I have identified some issues with GameMaker that I think are related to the file system and relating to editing code a lot. With the way tabs open up, it's a little bit frustrating to work with. Alright, so object enemy 1, object enemy 2, those are the main ones that I need to look at. Collision on equals true. So I'm going to work off of enemy 1 and go down enemy 1's list here. Max HP, does object enemy 2 have max HP? I do not see it. But I do see HP between the two. They should definitely, oh, I do see max HP in here, so I'm going to do max HP and HP. Max HP equals 300. I don't know. I'm just setting defaults at the moment. HP is max HP by default from between the two, I see. Both of these will overwrite correctly because I'm setting them in the child object. I probably won't always do that, but in this case, this is one thing that I definitely need to overwrite on a regular basis depending on what enemy I'm loading. Hit impact, yes. 10. I think I'll go ahead and just take some variables out as I'm setting them. Collision on. HP, max HP, I definitely want those to be overwritten. I'll leave them in there. Hit impact is the same for both. I can remove. Okay, blood explosions. Are there any blood explosions on this guy? Nope. Explosions, yes. Explosions for both equals 0. Gonna remove for both. Move that guy. Okay, outside room equals false. I think outside room is set on both, but I don't see it on enemy 2. Which I'm fine with. I'm pretty sure most of my other enemies do have that, but I'm gonna skip that for now. Step equals 0 on both. Remove. Stepper, image bool, max stepper. Nope, that's unique. Original step speed. I think that probably needs to be in there. I don't see it on this guy. I'm not going to set it at the moment. Step speed in both of these does not exist. Speed, again, doesn't exist in enemy 2. Not surprised based on what enemy 2 does. Sprite chosen doesn't exist. Sprite index. I'm going to leave that alone. Direction depth equals 101. Base image speed, I do not see. Sprite count, activate fire, fire bool. Hover bounce, max hover bounce, fire counter, nope, nope. Flashing, yes, flashing, flash counter. Take that guy over here. Flash counter max, yep, same. Game maker. Remove, remove. Standard. EBPM impact. Set that to false by default, apparently. Generally, I'll probably set object width. Hey, Do and Daniel. Okay, I think we're in a good place here with this guy. Speed factor. Okay, again, reducing code where possible. That's what I'm currently working on. I'm going to go ahead and open up, since I'm working on object 1 and trying to reduce object 1 as much as possible by letting it inherit from its parent object. I'm going to keep object 1 open. I think I'll go ahead and close object 2 because I'll come to object enemy 2 later. Object enemy 3, going to open that guy up, look at its step event. Sorry, its create event, just like I'm looking at everybody else's create event. Okay, got that guy open. Cancel. Alright. See what similarities I have between object 1 and object 3. See if I can port anything over to object base enemy init. Image speed. Base image speed. So I guess with this guy I could set a base image speed equal to 0.5 since I've got that on the other guy, and then just set them to base image speed here and let those remain because they're not the same between the two, and so basically each of the create events will override what the parent is doing. And I'm going to make sure that object enemy 2 has this on the create event really quickly. Leave this guy open. Is this object enemy 2? Yes. Step. Make sure, oh, I don't need the step event, I want the create event. Event inherited, good. Okay, good on that guy. I'm in the wrong place on that one. Create event, event inherited, perfect. Okay, back to here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to organize my on a regular basis, I'm going to organize my variables that are overriding the parent, override the parent, and ones that are unique to the object. Override parent properties, and just call these unique properties, because since I'm dealing with an object. So these are overrides. And unique. Right now this is unique, right now this is unique, unique, unique. There was one thing I think that was overriding, but I can't remember which one it was at the moment. That's okay. I know that a lot of these have the same ones, so we'll come back to them. Okay, back up here. Base image speed. Image speed, so that is overriding the parent. Okay, base image speed, collision on equals true. I know I pulled that out into the parent. And this is an override, so I'm just going to go ahead and mark this. Override parent properties. Unique properties. Original step speed exists in both of these places. I'm going to copy because I know speed exists as well. Let me look at this guy. Step speed. So I basically had to set 3 variables on this one. I think I'm using step speed a little bit later, but object enemy 1 has 3 speed variables: original step speed, and speed. This allows me to control the speed via the speed engine that I created. But I won't get into that right now. I know it's in one of my previous ones. One of my previous streams. So copy this guy, drop it over here. Oop. Didn't copy apparently. Copy. Try this again. Okay, good. But this is not unique. It is overridden. Same with at least this guy and at least this guy. Vaguelines123, thanks for the follow. Really appreciate the support, man. Thanks a lot. Okay. So I'm back here at object enemy 1. This guy may still be unique, but I had to pull him up here. No, you know what? I can leave him down here in unique properties because original step speed is declared up there. Okay, HP. I know I set an HP on this. I'm gonna go ahead. I know it's not unique. Hit impact is not unique. Actually, it's the exact same as the parent, so I remove it. Explosions equals 0, exact same as the parent, so it's gone. Direction selected equals false. That's unique. Outside the room, here we go. Outside the room exists in the child for both of these. So we remove it from both since it's the exact same. Depth equals 101 is the same as the parents. Step speed on screen. Stepper. Flashing, flash counter max. That's the exact same as the parents, which is right here. Flashing, flash counter max. Dying equals false. I don't think I have a dying. Gonna leave that guy alone. Global enemy 3 dying. I've got to look into this because I'm not entirely sure that I'm using this. Look into this. Let me just go take a search on, do a search on this guy right now. Because if this is the only place that it's used, it's going to get removed. And it's not. So I definitely need to look into the value of this. I'm going to come back to that. Brad. Okay, step equals 0. That's the exact same as the parent. Incrementer equals room speed. I don't think I have an incrementer in here. Oh, I do. So we'll remove this, take this out, or actually just put it in the parent. And both are overriding, so we need to take this up to the section that we've put up here for overriding. Increment room speed, incrementer. Okay. And EBPM, eyeball, eyeball plane missile impact, and that's in the parent as false, so it's right there. Alright. Good to go on 3. Gonna go back to 2 really quick since I organized these in a specific way and make sure that I have unique separated out. So override parent properties, unique properties. HP, max HP, Those are overriding. Sprite index, death counter, outside room now can be removed because it's in the parent. Sprite index, image speed, direction selected. At the very least, it's not the same between 1 and 2, so I'm not going to touch it at this instant. When I'm going through and doing 2, I will affect it then. Okay. Good spot, good spot. And let's just go ahead and run everything to make sure we're still operating as expected. Play. Okay, so we're just compiling, and since I just made a lot of changes and moved a lot of properties over to the parent object, I'm just making sure that those properties are set properly and the game still runs as expected. And if you were watching me a little bit earlier and I was working on attract mode, I'm going to go ahead and let attract mode play through first before I make this test, so that I can make sure attract mode is doing exactly as expected. So let's try this. This is the second video. This is the third video. Go back to the menu, title screen, and it does.
Skycurser.
We need to make sure it plays through all 3 of the next videos, so it should be separate from the first 3, and then jumps back to the title screen, and then goes back into video 1, so we check that. I think it's good there. Good. This is video 1, video 2. Video 3 of 3. Should go back to the menu screen. Okay, and then we gotta make sure it goes back to video 1. And it does.
Mission
very promising. Alright, going into gameplay.
Go!
Everything looks good so far. The EVP plane is coming up, the one that I was working on. Properties over to the parent object. I do see a debug message come on. I'm going to that debug message. Okay. I'm going to make sure that debug message disappears. Just turn debug mode off in the first place. Just turn debug mode to off. Save the changes, yes. Okay, so those debug messages should not appear unless I just turn debug mode on in general. Alright, so I think I'm at a good place to stop at the moment. You're welcome to hang around and watch me as I work through making sure this code is saved to Git. I don't think I'm going to publish any changes to Google Drive for my teammates because there's still some more changes that have to be added. These were very basic changes today. So now I'm going to be working on Git Bash for a second. And I'm just going to do a git status, see the changes that have been made. Gonna make sure all my changes are added to this commit. both new files and modified files. Waiting for it to update. Okay, it's updated. Now I can do my commit message. And I'll do that as soon as it finishes. Okay, so my commit message is updates to attract mode and tech debt paydown. That's basically it. That's basically what we covered for today. And I guess I did do a minor bug fix on the Katana. Minor bug fix on the Katana when swiping Necrostar. Okay, committed the changes. Now I'm going to push the changes. Almost done. Changes almost pushed. So I'm waiting for these changes to push. As I've pushed changes lately, it's taken much longer. I think it's related to the videos that were just recently added, the AVI files that were added through the extension that I recently added to GameMaker. If you're just joining us and you're wondering what extension that was a video player extension. That basically enables attract mode or display mode or demo mode without having to do a keylogger. I could have done attract mode in a couple of different ways. One way I thought of doing it, which would probably be the best way, would be to implement a keylogger, and that would really show or demonstrate the smoothest gameplay. The other way to do it is by allowing video files to play inside of your game, and the Lone Wolf guys, they're the guys who created the extension. They allow AVI files to play. I would like them to maybe see about modifying that and allowing MP4 files to play, but haven't gotten a chance to reach out to them yet. The reason being that MP4 files are much smaller than AVI files. So right now I'm just waiting for my changes to push. It looks like we're on 29% at the moment. Okay, not a big deal. I'm just going to keep making updates while that's pushing. Okay, object enemy 1, create. Open up the base enemy init, and I think in this base enemy init I can say properties that will be overridden, and I can also say properties that will not be overridden. HP is definitely up there. Hit impact may be up there. It's not proven itself to be yet. Depth 101. Depth will definitely be overwritten. Image speed will be overwritten. Overridden is not correct. Overwritten is what I want to say. Okay, see where this guy's at. Okay, he actually finished, so I'm going to make sure step speed is something that will be overwritten. And then incrementer maybe, but not now. Save that guy, save, save. Okay, and now that that is pushed, we're in a good place with this branch. In order to continue using get best practices, what we do at this point, since we just updated a feature branch, we switch over to a dev branch, get checkout dev. And then we check in with the Git repo. Our Git repo is on Bitbucket, and so when I pushed that last branch up just a second ago, it pushed it up to Bitbucket. When I do a fetch, it's basically saying on this current branch, go check the repo to see if there's been any changes since then. Now that I have a fetch, now I can know if there have been any new updates. So now I can actually say get, I should say now this branch knows if there has been any updates to the Git repo. Git pull origin sc2, the branch that I just pushed. sc2 is identified right here, and the current branch I'm on is dev. So I'm pulling in any changes that have occurred on the sc2 branch into dev, so because the sc2 branch is a feature branch. So now that I've got those changes here, we're in a good state with dev. I'm going to go back now and check out sc2 because that's what I was working off of and doing some code cleanup. So this is where I'm at. So I think we're at a good place. I'm not going to go over any updates in terms of exporting because I'm not going to export tonight. The export process takes a while now that I've got some extra video files in place. But I think we're in a good spot there. So I've got my Git repo updated. That's the last thing I needed to do. Tomorrow night, if you join me, I think I'm done with the stream for tonight, but if you join me tomorrow night, I will be, of course, doing a little bit more code cleanup. I don't like to focus on that the entire time I'm streaming, but it is important to talk through those things and make sure the code stays in a maintainable state so that I can write as little duplicate code as possible and inherit objects as much as possible. But tomorrow night, I just got a special weapon attack sent to me, a new graphic, a new image asset that I'm going to be implementing. It's basically going to be Skycurser / guys special weapon attack, and we're going to get this implemented so that when we take this to MGC, it'll be available for play at MGC, and it's in a really good state right now. Chris, our art guy, spent a lot of time on it this weekend, and it looks really good. So I'll be implementing that tomorrow. Shouldn't be too difficult. Basically, if Skycurser or guy taps all 3 weapon buttons at the same time, then we're going to unleash the special attack, and the special attack is basically going to kill anything in its path, and it's going to make Skycurser invincible for a very brief period of time. There may be additional specials in the near future, but for now this is the one special that we know we can get in to the game right before we go to MGC. So thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to stay up with our development, follow us on Twitter. That's the best place. We always make a we always basically tweet there whenever we're going live here on Twitch. And if you want to, you can follow us on Tumblr. That's where a lot of our artwork is updated. And you can catch these videos and all of our other videos on YouTube. We push them to YouTube after we're done streaming here. So thanks a lot, guys. I'll catch you tomorrow.